everybody, welcome to my channel for new battle report. So this is the second game of the French team championship. We are, after a very good round 1, we are facing a good team as expected when you cap. We are facing a Paka 1 and I'm facing the dwarf player that played ETC with Russia this summer. They ended up 3rd place, so good performance, and I know he's a good player. I played against him several times already in various tournaments, so yeah, I knew it was going to be an interesting game for me. Here's our pairing matrix. As you can see, we were okay with the pairing. The question was, as always, are our estimation of the game, of the matchups, correct or not? And we are going to see at the end which one was accurate and which one was not. But according to what we prepared, we were quite happy with what we reached after the pairing process. And yeah, I ended up with dwarfs. I didn't have a very good matrix this round, expecting the mirror match against OK to be not in my favor. It's probably closer to a yellow, but I didn't want that one. I think it's the potential to do a better score is quite low for me, and potential is higher for him, so I didn't want that one. And the Dreaders was very fighty with good armor, so a bit too complicated for me. So yeah, with the dwarf I was okay. I knew it was an unstable yellow, but always going to be interesting game to play. So this is again my list, you know it already, and this is my opponent's list. I know it really well because it's very similar to what my colleague from the Swiss ETC team is playing since a couple of years. At ETC, Paul is always playing an MSU shooty dwarf, so this is exactly the same kind of list. So I know it works, I know the synergy and stuff. I played already several times against Paul, so I know what I'm supposed to do. This is the spell selection. We play King of the Hill on Dawn Assault for this round. And I decided to go with Swarm and Totemic that are good to hunt War Machines, Break the Spirit, which is always a versatile spell, +1 toughness or strength can always be useful, and the rest is automatic. So I have some good tools with magic to protect me from range damage and also to be aggressive against the War Machine, which is nice. Matchup analysis. So yeah, I know that the points are well split on the board. I think that's the key strength of this list. It's very hard to table this list. He has a lot of shooting, meaning he can sacrifice stuff, shoot you, and he's going to take more points than what you take. The weakness of the list can be on some secondary objectives, so I need to take advantage from that. I think the map and who can start will be decisive and can decide between a standoff and an open game. I want to force him to feed me chaff. I have big block too. Actually, the bruiser are really a big unit that are complicated for him to kill to the last man because they have a lot of bodies and health point. So I need to use them to be aggressive and feed me chaff. Merc need to use cover. I know that shooting is a weakness for mercenaries, so I definitely need to use something to not be shot to death. My first priority is to take out the organ gun. I know what an organ gun can do. It's very annoying. It can shoot far away, so I need to be careful about that. And my estimation of the matchup was an unstable draw. I know well enough the matchup that it can go both ways, but I will need to take risk to take points. So deployment phase is interesting. Unfortunately for me, my opponent won the roll for sides, and he was able to pick a side that is much better regarding covering pieces and deployment zone. So he took this part of the board and gave me this part of the board, meaning I have an impassable, forcing me almost to drop on the right part of the impassable. So he picked this wall as his secondary objective to grab, to protect, making it very hard for me to, since my scoring unit need to be within a bubble to not suffer from leadership check, discipline check, it will be very hard for me to grab that one. So I think that was a smart choice from him. And then I considered the possibility to take the same wall and drop here, but I figured out it's way too small. I didn't know exactly how I could deploy strong enough on the left without having him putting a gun line around me and having only 2 units here. I didn't know exactly how to approach deployment. Definitely I wanted to pick the same piece of terrain because I think this is very good for me. I can use my bruise block and try to be on the wall, and I think it's very hard for him to stop me doing that. So I think that would have been the best choice, but due to the map, I didn't know how to achieve that. So I went with the following deployment. I picked the opposite wall and deployed a strong right with a couple of pieces to the left to try to grab the wall. So my right side, I dropped everything for first turn, obviously. I put some Yetis here that vanguarded forward. I put Scratapult, a Giant, my cannon on the back, Bruiser block with the Mage, Mercenaries block with BSB, 3 Tribesmen to protect a little bit my mercenaries, since I had no good piece of terrain to protect them. The only way to do that was to use my own unit as a cover. Then I put a Scratapult, my Frosty, and some Bruiser in the back to try to achieve in the late game a touchdown on this wall. And my opponent, so it's hard to identify the model, but he has some copter here. The 2 Grudge are here and here. Then you have the organ gun within the ring. That was expected, obviously. Hard cover and be able to shoot everywhere is just perfect for him. Another copter, all guardians, Vengeance Seeker over there, the second one, and then he has his infantry spread over the board. And here, as you can see, he has also a cannon just on the hill that has some good line of sight over the left. My turn 1, so I push forward aggressively. I wanted to have some shots with mercenaries, so I did march forwards so that I can shoot the Grudge Buster, but I push hard with my mercenaries to force me to chaff me turn 1. I move them forward to bait and also protect, hide a little bit my mercenaries. And on the right, I just cover my position and try to bait him to charge the Yetis. Other than that, on the left I move slightly to take some cover and stuff, but nothing too crazy. In my turn 1, I was able to get chilling on the organ gun, affecting a lot of units that can shoot, and then I also got +1 toughness on the Death Star, figuring out if he shoots at them, because they are quite short range from him, I want to have an additional protection. I dispelled, I think I failed Swarm of Insect, and he dispelled Totemic Summon. With shooting, I was able to do 3 wounds to Grudge Buster, and another wound to some warrior with Scratapult, and I think a wound to the Guardian with the Frosty. So nothing too crazy, but still a couple of wounds. His turn 1, he took 2 charges, 2 middle charges, a 6 Swift Stride and a 7 Swift Stride, so quite close. He wanted to overrun on my mercenaries, block me and cause me some damage with the impacted, which is not a bad idea. I think I could have angled a bit more to just give him no overrun. I think that was totally feasible without causing me too much trouble, but still achieving the same. So in hindsight, I think that was a mistake from me. He took a first piece of chaff to chaff my bruiser block. Other than that, it's just repositioning, moving forward to threaten me with range damage. What can I say? Close combat, something unexpected happened. So here is the 2 wound remaining Grudge, and this is the full Grudge. And I was able to do the 2 remaining wounds with the last surviving tribesman, which was crazy. So I killed him. He has only 1 Grudge, but at least he was able to achieve the 7 Swift Stride overrun against my mercenary, blocking me in close combat for my turn, so I won't be able to shoot. So at least he was able to achieve that, but at the end of my turn 2, I will have killed the 2 Grudge, which is some positive news in exchange for some tribesmen and mercenaries. My turn 2, I charge a chaff. Here I'm stuck in combat. I hesitated a little bit 2 times to use the remaining Yeti that was shot down to 1 guy to chaff these guys, and then yeah, I really considered that to chaff the 3 old Guardian, but then I figured out I still have 10 bodies. Can he really, what can combo charge me? Not a lot of stuff, so I should be fine. So I decided not to use him as chaff. And my opponent also used some psychological trick to tell me, no, I won't charge you, makes no sense, I have an MSU, you have big blocks, and so on. We'll see what happened. My Keen Eater comes on the board to threaten the cannon. I start to push forwards towards the left, creating some threats, and here I use my Chariot and Giant to avoid him entering the board close to the secondary objective. That's basically the idea, and I wanted to keep the Yeti as piece of chaff for later on. In my magic phase, I think I got maybe chilling, but nothing too crazy, at least no Totemic Summon, no Swarm of Insect because I'm in close combat. Then close combat, he killed a roll 2 mercenaries, which is a lot, but then I was able to kill him. I killed the chaff and just post-combat pivot, and that was it. His turn 2, he decided to go for the charge, so he passed the 8 Swift Stride with the little guy to charge my flank, which was very important. He charged on a 10 with the small unit of warrior, which was also quite important. And then these guys, the Old Guardian, were automatic. So that's the one that I wanted to chaff. I hesitated, and he went for the triple charge. So we'll see what happened. He moved forward with both copters to threaten me. Miners entered on the backfield to threaten my mercenaries, which is annoying. I didn't see really that coming, to be honest. And then he turned around the Old Guardian to making sure if I charge him, he can see me. I think he moved the cannon as well, but I'm not sure. With his shooting, he killed one mercenary with the miner entering the board, so he killed one. A bit annoying. And then the rest of the shooting with the 2 copters, he was able to kill these Yetis, cause a panic check to the mercenaries, and I failed the 9 Swift Stride. Which is huge because you see the position of mercenaries. They could have charged a Seeker next turn, overrun against the copter. They had a lot of things to do, so this is very, very frustrating for me. So I failed my panic. The closest unit are these guys, so I flee off there and end up here in the front, meaning I have no support charges to support this combat next turn, and I have no reroll in case I need to check steadfast. So yeah, this is a bit tense. And then the rest of the shooting, did a couple of wounds here and there, I don't remember exactly where. And then close combat, he was able to kill quite a lot of bodies. He killed 4, I think, of my guys, meaning I'm not steadfast anymore. I did some wounds in return. I think I lost by 2, I think. But I have no BSB anymore. I'm not steadfast. And basically break me, run me down. So this Yeti, not using him as chaff, was a mistake that cost me 3,000 points of army. So when I say on my channel quite often that you need to pay your mistakes heavily, I think I will stop to say that because here I paid a very, very, very heavy price for the decision of not chaffing him. So I think that was stupid. I could have also just reforming 3 in the front would have ensured me to be steadfast with a leadership 9 at least, but I think with them failing the 9 rerollable because of the panic check here, I was in trouble here, because if I don't kill him this turn, then next turn I will suffer some wounds, I cannot counter charge, so I was in trouble with the bruiser block in the middle of his line anyway. My turn 3, I still have a lot of pieces alive, so we'll see what I can do. I rally them, which is cool, but I don't have a lot of bodies left, and as you can see, he has just the gun lines just looking at me. I took some charges, so Scrat Apple to win against the warrior, Keen Eater, charge them, I used Frosty to threaten him if he charged me. The same goes for Bruiser Block that push forward. Small Bruiser unit, sorry, that's no block, turn around the cannon to shoot at them. I think I attempted a charge. No, I didn't attempt a charge, just turned away the Scratapult and I push my giant forward. So I only have a couple of models left, but I will try to achieve the most I can do. No magic anymore, so this is going to be fast. Close combat, I do a couple of wounds here, but he passes his steadfast. No other combat. Yes, here I did a couple of wounds, but he passes his stubborn check. I wasn't able to kill his war machine, so that was a bit annoying. His turn 3, he can't charge my Keen Eater, which was expected. He double charged my mercenaries, and I figured out against 3 Old Guardians plus the small guy striking before me, first of all, I have a very low chance of sticking. Maybe I can survive with stuff, but most likely I will die. And second of all, in the long run, there is no way this unit is going to survive if I all discharge. So I decided to flee, and I flee over the building, ended up here. I think the flee pass was quite good for me because I consider the fact that I can rally. I'm hidden for most of the stuff that can shoot me, and I can always rally turn 4 and try to go for the wall. So I consider the flee move to be the best decision. So I took the flee, and unfortunately for me, I was able to bring the second unit of miner that's going to shoot at me and try to put me below 25% to make my rally check harder and overall make very hard for me to survive also. So yeah, nothing I could do. So here's double fate charge, here is in combat. He put a chaff in the front of my giant. yeah, that's it. Close combat, what happened? He killed my Kinita, I guess, but I killed the cannon, which is a fair trade-off. He did some wounds to my guys, meaning I'm below 25%, and here I was able to break his warrior, which is very important for me, because now I can charge the organ gun and get some nice overrun pass. So I was feeling excited, because yes, I lost a very high amount of points, because these guys will not rally, but I'm still able, with my single model, to do some damage. My turn 4. So these guys didn't rally, fled off the board. I charged with the cannon against them. I took the charge. Did I charge something with this catapult? I think I attempted a long charge against the old guardian, but I fail. I charged this catapult on the flank to the organ gun with an overrun pass against some warrior flank, which is nice. Charge a giant with an overrun pass against this warrior, which is nice as well. Obviously there is a guy looking at me and I don't have so many wounds left, but we strike same time. If I do a lot of wounds, you never know. My Frosty I forgot to mention, but last round only with the organ gun I was able to do 5 wounds to the Frosty, which is really huge, because I can't charge him anymore. So I march to the flank, out of line of sight, and I push out of line of sight with Bruiser, making sure that if he comes to me, then I can charge. I want to engage combat against him, I have no choice. This is it, close combat. What happened? My giant break the small, kill him and overrun against warrior. Here he passes his stubborn check, so I'm not able with impact hits and a lot of attacks to kill the war machine. And he passes stubborn 9, which is annoying. And that was it. And here I kill a couple of bodies and I have a charge on the back, but he's able to stick on a steadfast and reform. So yeah, annoying as well. I wanted to kill him, overrun, threaten here, so a bit annoying. His turn 4, I tried to charge with this 3 guy in my back, but failed the charge. Okay. Here we're still in combat. He was able, I think, to counter charge me. I think, yeah, he had the engineer that counter charged my catapult. Okay, why not? He put his old guardian in the front of me, out of line of sight of the Frosty, which is, yeah, well done from him. And he put some shooting stuff on my flank. He was in combat. He didn't do much with the minus. And turn around these guys to shoot my Bruiser. And also, yeah, counter charge on the back of the giant with his small Seeker. Close combat will be good for me. The Seeker didn't do too much to me. I was able to stomp him to death, I guess, and do a lot of wounds to the front, meaning I break the unit in the front and this guy is dead. So this is amazing. I'm able here to sticking, but I will overrun with the giant towards here, I think, or pursue and catch him and end up like here to be able to charge his general next turn, which is nice. The cannon did a couple of wounds, but we're still in combat, I guess. Yeah, this is disappointing. My giant on my turn. So as you can see, I took a lot of points here. I charge his general with an overrun against the 3-4 remaining guys. Who are these guys? Yeah, that's the guys that fled combat. I didn't catch them, I think, and they went over there. So yeah, I can charge him, an overrun here, and if I catch him, I can make a check to reform. I didn't charge with them, just back a little bit and put the Frosty on the hill to make sure if he charges me, I can charge him. Scratapple charged the 3 remaining guys, and that was it. Close combat, what happened? I killed his general, overrun, catch them, but didn't pass the check. Here I think he killed me, which was very surprising. Here I killed him and overrun, I guess, to be out of charge arc of the old guardian. His turn 5, he went on secondary, charged my 3 bruiser with both the small guy in the back and these guys in the front. Push to the side to shoot me with the 2 remaining miners. Plus the copter, so this is a bit unfortunate to have the cannon dying against some miners that I charge in the back. Yeah, a bit disappointing. And here you can see, yeah, he's looking at my scratapple to shoot me. That's it, more or less. Close combat. He will do some wounds to me, but not break me, which is surprising. And my turn 6, I counter charge in the back. I charge my giant against a unit of Longbeard, I guess, with an overrun on a 6 to the flank of the old guardian. It's hard to see, but I was able to do that. So this is nice. My catapult had only 1 wound left, so I couldn't charge in the ruin against them, so I just moved to the flank to shoot other stuff, try to panic some stuff. Here I move also out of line of sight to just shoot. Close combat, he will, so I'm striking before, do a lot of wounds to stuff, but he's able to, yeah, I have important. So I break these guys, I catch them, but I fail my overrun on a 6. I roll, I think 5 and ended up here, which is huge because if the giant goes in combat, I can kill the old guardian before they strike me, meaning I have 2 guys alive and I have a chance against the remaining guy. And here I didn't achieve the overrun, meaning I did some wound to the front, but he was still in base contact with me and was able on his turn to finish off the last bruiser, meaning I cannot contest secondary, so he gets the secondary objective. And with the remaining shooting, you will kill both catapults and this guy in combat, and the giant also from shooting, so I have only the Frosty with 1 wound remaining at the end of the game. So bloody game. Game result, yeah, a heavy loss, 3-17. So I lost pretty much everything, which was really a nightmare for me. But I took some points as well. Post-game analysis, so yeah, this was the difficult part of the map for me, hard to deploy, but I think starting was right, but I could have tried a compact deployment on the left, I will show you after, and also I should have used my Yetis to pressure the organ gun. I think to pick the same secondary as him, despite the fact that it was hard to deploy, that should have been my choice, because that's my best chance to grab secondary. Micro, I underestimated his combat power of his combo charge, and I paid a heavy price. I was very surprised that this 3 unit can break down 10-man strong bruiser block, but yeah, sometimes you are very surprised with the bruiser block how fragile they can be. Because you can, against distracting model or high weapon skill, if you don't hit well, then you are in trouble. Even after the chaos of losing like 2/3 of my army, I still had opportunities with 5 single model to climb back, and with some additional luck, I still had some luck with giant particularly, but with additional luck I could have even grabbed draws secondary and grab some points and maybe end up like 6-7, which would have been a big surprise. Yeah, I failed another important 9 rollable that happened already last tournament, and this time it hurts even more. I should consider Discipline Banner, I guess. Losing one of the 2 bricks or even the 2 bricks, it's just too much points, and then it's very hard to climb back. What I could have done with my deployment is deploy that way. Mercenaries looking to the side, moving forward in the forest, using some cover, having my bruiser block 3 wide, moving forward, Frosty in the back to support, all my single models to the right, and then take the same wall as him. I think that would have been much better for me, and still with my single model, as we saw in this battle, I'm still a big threat for him, and try to push the Yetis towards the front of the organ gun to force him to shoot me, manage me. If he doesn't achieve that, I can charge him. So I think I had better ways to approach this game, and this would have been a much better deployment. Yeah, we ended up with a big loss. I think the rating of this match was totally wrong. It was a red, and we got some bad losses in games that we thought were good, that didn't turn out well. My game also that turned out to be, turned really bad. And then at the end we suffered a cap this time, so heavy loss. We need to bounce back on the 3rd round, so we'll see what happens next round. Thanks a lot guys for watching, and talk to you soon on my channel. Bye bye.